Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Expat Conversations with your host, Michael Nolen. I want to say thank you for tuning in today. The Expat Conversations is an extension of the University of Guadalajara Institute of Investigation, Innovation, and Governance. And what we try and do is reach out to the expat community that's living here in Mexico, and or people that are expats that are snowbirds that just come down part of the year and want to kind of know some things happening while they're back in Canada or in the United States. Or if you're just a citizen and you're wanting to come down thinking about being an expat, moving to the country of Mexico, we try and provide a lot of information for you that is factual and coming directly from the sources. So with that being said, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Also want to thank the Monte Carlo Hotel and Spa here in the beautiful city of Chapala for allowing us to film all of our episodes here. Today I have a young lady on the show, Fowler. And first of all, thank you very much, Fowler, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
She is an animal person.
Very
She is
much
a
so.
dog and cat person.
I love anything with four legs and a tail. I consider my friend, but I concentrate on dogs.
On dogs.
On dogs.
And if I'm not mistaken, for a long time you've had like a orphanage for stray dogs and this, that, and the other. Please, if you would, Flower, kind of give us a little of your bio, where you're from originally, how you really got involved in what you do, and then what do you do, and where you're located, and how people can get in contact. I know that's about 10 questions all in one, but I'll leave the mic to you and I'll be quiet and you can just tell us all about yourself and everything else.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
Thank you. I came down here 16 years ago to study Spanish. My major in college was Human Services Addiction Studies, which is nothing close to what I'm doing now. And I came down and decided I wanted to stay longer. And so I went home, packed up all my stuff, packed up my apartment, and decided I was going to stay for a year. Well, that was 16 years ago.
Are you from the States or are you from Canada?
I'm from the States. I'm originally from Michigan. Colorado's my second home state, but I've lived all over the U.S. And now
Now
I
you're
lived
here.
in Canada and now Mexico. So I've got North America covered. The dogs started because of my daughter. I came home one day and she had this little puppy in the house and I was like, no way. I came down with cats from the United States and she looked at me and said, really, this dog has now had a soft bed and good food and you're gonna throw it back out in the street? Well, no, I wasn't, so I didn't. And then I started rescuing dogs off the street, just to adopt for me. And then when I had 7, I realized I couldn't keep anymore. And that's when I started becoming a rescuer, I guess you would say. And I had an English school at the time in Tlaquepaque, and I started stashing dogs in the school. So I had a total of 13 dogs, and somebody dumped a mama dog and her 6 puppies off on my doorstep. So
Oh, no.
all of a sudden I went from 13 to 20. And you have to understand these houses don't have any yard. And when I say don't have any yard, it doesn't mean they have a little yard. It means they're attached to houses on 3 sides. There's literally no yard. And so that's when I decided, okay, well, we're moving so that we can actually build a rescue. And first we moved to Agua Escondida and I built a few dog runs there. And then 2.5 years ago, we moved to our current location and actually built a real dog rescue.
Now that's very current, because haven't you just built a new facility within the last year or so?
No, there were talks to move in and help the city with what they wanted to do as far as rescue.
The municipality of Chapala?
The municipality of Chapala.
Now is that where you're located now?
No, it ended up not happening.
Okay.
Because the landowner himself wanted an exorbitant amount of money to buy the land or rent it after the current rental contract with the municipality is up, because we don't know what's going to happen with the next administration. So I had to speak with the landowner to make sure that we were covered before we put any funds in there. And it didn't happen.
Okay.
So what we did is I just built more runs where I'm at and a brand new play yard. So we have 5 play yards now instead of 4. And we have more brand new dog runs, so we could take in more dogs there. We are still looking for a new place to expand. But for right now, we're staying where we're at.
Where exactly are you located physically?
In Ixtlahuacan de los Membrillos,
okay.
And it's in the fraccionamiento that's called Los Cedros. And it's, if you know where Agua Escondida is.
No, I live in Agua.
Okay.
I live in Ixtlahuacan de los Membrillos.
Okay.
On the west side of town.
Okay.
Not going to tell you exactly where I live. I live on the west side of town between the plaza and Aguilitas,
Okay.
which is next to town.
Right.
But I have a lot of friends and family that live in Agua Escondidas.
Yeah. I live about going towards Guadalajara. The refuge is about 5 minutes past Agua Escondida.
Okay. On the main highway.
Right off the main highway.
So there's another little village over there.
That's Los Cedros.
Los Cedros.
And I don't live in the town. I live on the opposite side of the highway where
Okay.
there's no neighbors, no residential area.
Okay. So you've got a hectare or 2 or some acres?
There, right now we're on 3,500 square meters. So it's just over, a little over an acre and a half.
Okay.
Where we're at
And
right
you
now.
take in strays of all types? Or,
All types.
Okay.
It used to be that I was the one going out to rescue. I don't get that much opportunity anymore. Usually now we actually have a waiting list for dogs to come in. There are times where I'll see a dog and I'll pick it up and take it home, but usually it's because they're in really bad shape or really dire need of help. This last month we actually took a bus is donated lakeside by an organization called the Rescue Express, and that's based in the U.S. But the man who was wonderful, his name is Mike McCarthy, he donated a bus to help get dogs from the local rescues here up north into the States and Canada, where most of our adoptions go. And so we did a bus, not just my dogs, but other rescues dogs as well, independent rescuers in Guadalajara that don't have the kind of outreach that we do and can't find homes like we can. So we took a load of dogs up there, and on the way back ended up rescuing 2 off the highway on the way home.
well, I know there's a lot of stray dogs all over here.
Right.
In this part of Mexico, and I guess it's a lot of Mexico. And it's partly because people don't have yards.
Right.
Houses are built with common walls, and some of them will have like a garden area or a run area inside the middle of the house, kind of like a large atrium or something.
Like,
some of
like
them
a
have little
courtyard,
gardens,
yeah.
courtyards. But there's really not like what we think traditional yards in the United States, where
Right.
your house has to be set back, 45 feet from the curb, and then you have to have 40 feet behind your house and some 10 feet on either side. It's just not like that. There's so many common buildings here,
Right.
and they just don't have them. A lot of the dogs that you see on the streets all the time,
Are not necessarily
maybe not
strays.
homeless, they do
Right.
have homes, but they only go there late at night
Right.
and maybe to eat and sleep and then
And
bark all night.
We do try and let, like, especially snowbirds and new expats, we try and let them know that not every dog you see on the street is a stray dog. It has a home. The culture is different. The
Yes.
culture is changing, and I've seen a humongous change for the better in the 16 years that I've been here.
That's great.
people actually, their dogs are in their house, they're not left up on the roof 24/7. Of course, that still does go on, but it's gotten much better. It's gotten much better. And we try and let people know that just because you see a dog on the street does not mean that it's a stray dog.
Mm-hmm.
If it looks healthy, leave it be.
Well, it's in the States. You have a pet, you have to have it tagged,
Licensed,
registered. You have to have vaccination shots, maybe neutered, this, that, and the other. I know Bob Barker used to have that
Right.
TV show. He ended every one of the shows for
Spay
27 years.
neuter.
Have your dog spayed and neutered, which is a giant problem in parts of the world. Down here, I think it's a large problem, but there's not the tagging, so you don't know who owns the dog.
Right.
And very, very few dogs even have collars on or anything.
Right.
So it's hard to tell if they're a stray or not. But times you can, and you know they're stray, and they can call you or they can contact your association. One thing that really interests me that you all do is a lot of expats that live in the States and or Canada that move down here want to bring their pets.
Right.
And sometimes they're rather large dogs and they have problems working with the airlines. Sometimes they have multiple dogs. I had a friend in Puerto Vallarta had 7 dogs
That he brought with him?
that he brought. They were all strays that he adopted
Oh.
over the years. And he actually had a veterinarian that him and his wife paid for that once a month would spay and neuter dogs and vaccine dogs. That they did it once a month there in the Puerto Vallarta area. And then he had another home up in another resort town that he would take his own personal vet up there once a month or every 2 months and perform neutering
Amazing.
and spading and all
That's
this.
fantastic.
Unfortunately, Marty got sick and passed away. But he had a tremendous deal. And he even donated a lot of money to have a funeral home for pets. When cats and dogs or raccoons or whatever you had, if it passed away, Marty would pay to have a little service. And they had like a little chapel in Puerto Vallarta. And they even had a little cemetery behind it. And
That's amazing.
Marty was just a pet person.
Right.
And a lot was lost when Marty passed away and his wife moved back to the States. But getting dogs back and forth are sometimes very, very difficult. Especially if you have I know he had what he called his companion dogs.
Uh-huh.
And when he'd go back and forth to his home in Las Vegas, he'd take 3 or 4 at a time. And one time he said, "Hey, I can't take all my dogs. I'll fly you to Vegas for the weekend if you'll take a pet." I said, "Sure, Marty. Whatever."
That's not a bad deal.
So it wasn't a
That's
bad
not
deal.
a bad deal.
And so you help also expats get their dogs back and forth between the States and Canada, or
if somebody
give information
calls,
out?
Right. If somebody calls me looking for advice on what do they need, absolutely. COVID, one of the unfortunate things that happened with COVID, as far as pets go, is a lot of the airlines stopped letting pets in cargo. We usually use, when we fly dogs out, we fly out on Volaris. They unfortunately lowered the amount of dogs that you could take at once from 7 to 5. So now on Volaris, when we fly dogs up north, and usually to the Pacific Northwest, to Seattle, 4 in cargo, 1 in cabin. Aero Mexico will still allow up to 11 dogs, I believe, and that's
Wow.
their max.
Are they all underneath, or
They allow, I believe, 9 in cargo and 2 in cabin. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't use Aeromexico very much because they charge much more than Volaris.
I'm not very smart because I don't have any pets. I travel all the time. And when I was in the United States, I had quite a bit of land, and I had, at one time, 11 Springer Spaniels.
Oh, wow.
I had 2 bitches and 2 males, and then puppies from time to time, and beautiful dogs. I had a big lake, so they liked that and everything. But when I moved down here, I didn't sold my dogs and everything. But people go back and forth, and if you're taking a pet, you have to have a seat on the airplane,
Uh-huh.
and you have to have the pet. And for people like me that don't know very much, is there a size limit that can be on your lap versus underneath the cargo?
Yes.
And it has to be in a special type container?
Absolutely.
Will you explain some of that?
Okay, so if you're flying a dog in the cabin, it has to be under 20 pounds, and it has to be able to, with the carrier, fit in the seat, under the seat in front of you.
Okay.
That's their rule. Under 20 pounds, and it has to be in a carrier. It can be hard-sided if it's small enough to fit under. Usually we recommend soft-sided because you can squish it down a little bit and it still has room, but now it's lateral instead of height. But that's the cabin rule. They will still allow service dogs. They have to allow service dogs, but most airlines no longer will allow an emotional support dog in the cabin. For cargo, they allow up to 100 pounds with the carrier. And they used to have a size limit. I think most of them have gone away with the size limit on the carrier now. They used to do an oversized charge. Now it's just by weight. So if it's 100 pounds or less with the kennel is their limit.
Okay, say we're flying a dog from Guadalajara Airport to
Okay.
Seattle.
Okay?
And you're going to put it underneath.
Uh-huh.
You have to have someone, of course, take the dog, check it in like you would if you were getting a ticket
Right.
and you as a person
Which
are getting
is-
on the plane.
Which is why we're always looking. So if you're ever flying to Seattle, please let me know. You could be a flight angel. What a flight angel is somebody who's already flying, right? Somebody who's already planning to go to Seattle or to Portland or to Vancouver and says, okay, yeah, I'm willing to escort some dogs. We book the dogs on the flight. We meet them at the airport, get them checked in and the dogs checked in. And then on the other end, there's somebody waiting to receive the dogs. And that's usually how we do it. Sometimes we'll fly with them, but again, that's money, right?
Let's say it's approximate $400. It might be $1,000. I don't know what it costs to fly to Seattle.
It's
Never been there.
$120 per dog.
$120 per dog.
Right.
No matter if it's a little one inside the cabin or a big one underneath.
Actually, the one inside the cabin, and this is Volaris's prices, the one inside the cabin is $140.
140 inside, 120 underneath.
Right.
Okay.
Which, that doesn't make sense to me. Smaller dog, and you're the one that's carrying it, but.
Hey, I'm flying to Thailand later on. I was going to stop in Tokyo for 5 hours or a day or two. And the flight from here to Bangkok is like $1,100. If I was deciding just to go to Tokyo, it's like $1,500. And I mean, I'm getting a whole extra flight from Tokyo to Bangkok and then back to Tokyo for $500 less. I don't know how the airlines come up with their
me
pricing and rates. It makes no sense to nobody.
But it just is what it is, and you gotta
It
go
is.
with the flow.
And you have quite a few dogs going up
Right.
with people, but then you have a lot coming down, or do people usually up there take care of that, or you just work on this end of it?
Sometimes we'll get somebody asking, what do I need to bring my dog down? There's the technicality, and then there's what really goes on. So if somebody's driving across the border, Mexico usually will not ask for anything on the dog.
They let you leave Phoenix and come on down.
Right. If you're flying up or driving up, they have to have their current rabies, and they need a health certificate that's made within the last 5 days if you're flying. The
Okay.
rabies shots have to be more than 30 days, and they also have to be up to date on their flea and tick treatment and worming. So, but usually when we send them up with more than that.
So you have a website or something where, say I'm in Seattle, and I
Okay.
want a dog, and I can't find one at the local rescue center, the pound, whatever they call them. I don't know why they ever call them pounds. A dog pound.
I don't know.
I don't know where that ever came up. If you know, if you've ever been in that business and you can contact me, please do, because I'd like to know. Just for my own curiosity. Just another trivia fact that I'll know. Why
Right.
they call a dog pound a dog pound. But somebody wants a dog. Is there a website they go on to you and look at pictures or something like that and say, hey, oh, there's a cute little
I do
whatever,
have
and
a
I want that
website.
dog.
I don't keep it up to date as I should, but I do have a website, straydogsofmexico.com.
What is it again when you say it to the mic?
Straydogsofmexico.com. But the best way to get a hold of me or to see any dogs that we have is through Facebook. Through
Okay.
Facebook.
And it's also Stray Dogs of Mexico.
Scruffy's Doggy Oasis. It's very long because
Scruffy Dog Oasis.
we are.
Is it named after my brother?
Yeah.
I think.
It was named after.
I'm not gonna say which one of the
It's
four. but-
actually named after the very first one that I came home and my daughter had. And I know that Scruffy is a very generic name, but you've never met a dog that was more apropos. He had hair growing this way and that way and this way and that way. And it just suited him.
My mom had a dog. He only had 3 legs, no tail, and 1 eye, and they called him Lucky.
Oh.
Is that- I have a friend in Puerto Vallarta. He has a dog. His name is Diogi. Rand's not very, but he named his dog.
But it's cute,
Diogi.
Diogi.
He goes, "Come here, Diogi."
That's
I thought it was cute.
Right, it is cute.
You know? Well, like I
Anything
said.
that's original, I like. Something different.
Spot.
No, Spot's not on the radar.
I know that the United States, believe it or not, the United States Social Security issues all Social Security cards for newborns in the United States.
Uh-huh.
Unlike me, I got mine at 7 years old. Now, when you're born, you get a Social
Right.
Security card. Well, they put out a list of the 5 top female and male names every year. What people are naming their children the most. I wonder if there's the same organization like that to do it for dogs. Because dog names, you can...
Right. No, I don't.
What's
I've
the
never
strangest
heard
dog you ever heard?
The strangest name?
Besides Diogi.
I don't know. I've heard so many names now, I can't think of one. And every time I rescue a new dog or we get a new dog into the refuge, that's the struggle. A new name that I haven't used before, and that's not one of the 10 most common names here in Mexico. Because here in Mexico, all the dogs are named Canelo, Canela, Negro, Negra, Blanco, Blanca, or Palomo, Paloma, Bruno. The one I hate the most is Solo Vino, which means it just showed up.
Well, my Spanish isn't enough
yeah.
enough to know any of those names,
But yeah, there's so many.
Scruffy sounds like a good one. Sounds like
Scruffy, and
a character.
And where we were, it was a unique name where we were. But we're switching over from calling it Stray Dogs of Mexico to Scruffy's Doggy Oasis in honor of Scruffy, who was the one who started it all.
Is he gone on to the great
He has.
kennel in the sky?
He has.
You don't board dogs. Say I'm living here in Ajihi and I'm going to Las Vegas for 3 weeks and I want to board my dog and I don't have any really close friends that like me enough to keep it for 2 or 3 days or a week or a month. Can I bring my dog out there, pay you
right now,
$50 a month?
No, but that is actually
a doggy hotel
in
kinda?
the works.
Okay.
I would like to build a couple of dog runs with cameras in them, and that would just help fund the dog rescue. But I do know if anybody needs doggy boarding, I have an excellent friend who runs Clicker Pets, and she is actually a dog trainer and boarding facility.
You know, there's a lot of people in the United States, and I guess maybe around the world, that are trying to make a little bit of extra money doing this, that, and the other. And some people have built playgrounds in their yards, their big backyards. They've gotten rid of all their kids' trampolines and whatever, swing sets. And they're building all these dog kind of play things.
Right.
And they're renting them out by the hour. So if you're an apartment dweller in the city of San Francisco and you want to go down south 30 miles to San Mateo and put your dog in a pen, well not a pen, but put them in a playground, let them run around, jump around, bring your 3 or 4 dogs for a couple hours. They rent out their house or their yard by the hour, $20 an hour, and these people are making money.
Right.
And they're busy 6 to 8 hours a day with all kinds of dogs.
Right, and that's amazing because, you know, I don't want to deny somebody who lives in an apartment the joy of having a dog, but a dog does need.
Oh yeah, it needs
that
exercise, it needs outside activity.
And that's an excellent business idea from the people who are doing it, and it's excellent for the dogs that are being taken there, because now it's happy, win-win.
Yeah, and pets do need outside.
They do.
Like I said, if I would have had that big, huge lake and all that stuff, I would have never had Springer Spaniels, because they just love
Right.
that water. They love chasing the birds and everything else. Okay, we've kind of covered how getting dogs back and forth,
Okay.
adopting dogs.
Right.
Let's get to the nuts and bolts. It costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time to run an organization like
Yes, it
you.
does. That's always the
Maybe
struggle.
people want to donate to you money to buy bags of food, or to buy shampoos, brushes,
Vaccines,
necklaces,
worming.
whatever.
Yeah. That's,
Can they donate, give you money? Can they, if you're local and they want
Yes,
to buy you a
please.
couple bags of food, bring it out to you?
Yes, please.
Okay.
The dog food brand that we use, we try not to switch up dog food so that we don't have occurrences of tummy problems in the dogs, and then occurrences of having a hard time cleaning up after them. I'll let your mind.
Old Roy. You know, that's named after Sam Walton's dog. Old Roy is Walmart or Sam's Club's
Oh, okay.
brand of dog food.
Okay.
And Old Roy was Sam Walton's personal bird dog.
Oh,
That's
I
right.
did not know that. Well, we use a brand called Expat that can be found at
Soriana?
No, it's not
Mega?
at Sewer. It's the little one.
Oxo?
Nope. I'll think of it. The Surtidora. Surtidora
Okay.
sells Expat. It's in a big blue bag. It's the highest quality economical food that I can find that's at a decent price, because yes, it is very expensive. People can also donate through PayPal or Zelle directly to me,
Okay.
or they can donate to Stray Dogs of Mexico, Scruffy's Doggy Oasis, through Lake Chapala Charities, and that one is tax deductible if it's a US dollar donation.
Great. Okay, we've talked about a lot of things. I'm sure there's a lot of things I haven't asked you because I'm just not smart enough to do that. What would you like everybody to know that we haven't talked about?
I think I would like everybody to know to support an organization. I don't, of course, I would like to say support us, because, we do need funds. But there are many here. There's Tails of Mexico, which is a spay-neuter program that works primarily in the municipality of Jocotepec. We're in Ixtlahuacan. They're starting another spay and neuter program with Patricia Uri, and I can't remember the name of it, but if you contacted her, I'm sure that she would.
I know
let
my
you know.
wife's involved in some of that. She's involved with the government of Chapala a little bit, but she's also has a program called San Roque. San Roque is the patron saint of animals through the Catholic Church. And they've had several programs where people from all over our community bring their dogs and cats, and the Catholic priest blesses them all.
Yes, we
Make
just
sure they're
had
healthy
the
and all
Day
that.
of Blessing last month, I think.
And then they do that a couple times a year. And then they just had an event, I think a day or two ago, about vaccination through the municipality of Ixtlahuacan. They donated the vets and donated the vaccination. And then I think they had like 90 some odd animals, cats and dogs, come and get vaccinated. And they're working. I think there's several organizations that do the spay and neutering.
Well, we all obviously spay and neuter our own rescues.
Okay.
There is just one right now that I know of that is 100% focused on only spay and neuter. It's very difficult to spread ourselves thin. So if I'm running a refuge, it's hard for me to also organize a spay and neuter campaign.
Well, that's awful expensive too, to
Right,
spay and neuter
and the
dogs.
spay and neuter campaigns, they would not have the time to run a refuge. So it really is all of us working together to do our best.
That's great.
From there, and stopping them from being born in the streets and living and dying in the streets. Us from rescuing the dogs and taking them in, getting them healthy, and finding them good homes. And part of getting them healthy, obviously, is spay and neuter. And then finding their good forever home. So it is, you can't do one type of organization without the others. We all have to
You
work
work hand in
together.
hand.
Right.
There's a dog on my street. She actually belongs to a family across the street. And I've lived there almost 3 years, and she's on her 5th litter. I call her Madre. I've nicknamed her Madre.
Well, I tell you what.
And I give her bones on. But this family, when she goes into heat, they won't lock her up. They have a gated area, but they won't lock her up. They put her on the street. All the male dogs within a mile come. She gets pregnant, she has her litter, and then they sell the puppies. It's part of their income, which is sad to me.
It is sad.
And
quite
but
honestly,
I've complained. I can't do anything about it. I've asked them, please,
Speyer.
spade her. I think we're going to sneak her out one night.
That is exactly what I would do, and I have no qualms doing that.
But
There are some people who have spoken out against when I say that I would do that. I will 100% take a dog off the street, go in, get it spayed or neutered.
What does it cost to have a dog spayed and neutered?
In Mexico, next to nothing compared to the cost in the United States. So in Mexico, regular prices run between 600 to 900 pesos.
That's about 40 to 50 bucks.
Right, depending on size of the dog and if it's male or female.
It's not that much. It's 20 to $30.
Right, yeah, it's
Because right now it's like 20 to 1, so $10 is.
right. So
basically
I mean, if
200
it costs
pesos.
600 pesos, then you're talking $30. If it's a large female Dane, then yeah, you're talking closer to 50, 60 bucks. But still, that's nothing in comparison to
Oh, yeah.
what it would cost in the States.
Talking about pets here, is there an abundance of veterinarians? Are they good quality veterinarians?
There are some.
In this local area?
Yes, there are. There are. My main vet is Dr. Luis at Mascotas Lake. We have another vet here who is really good, and that's Dr. Ladrone. He is a little more on the expensive side, but he does have equipment here in his office up here that other vets don't have. But there are many very good vets here. There are many specialist vets in Guadalajara. So yeah, that's not, it's that one's not an issue. We have lots
Great.
of vet care, lots of quality vet care. And vet care, the vets will come out to your house. The vets will, one of the original 7 that's, that started the whole thing, when he had to be put to sleep, I don't start crying, we went to a little park by the lake, and the vet came to me. And, I got Baron his steak dinner and a little bit of chocolate, because finally they could have chocolate. And Dr. Luis came to me at the lake.
Oh, wow, that's so generous.
Yeah. So the vets here are amazing. They're amazing, and
Good.
still a service and quality of care that we don't get in the States anymore, that we don't even expect in the States anymore. So it is one of the great things here. One other thing I wanted to mention that I did not before about the whole realm of rescue. We have the original rescue of getting them healthy. We have the spay and neuter programs. I have a facility. There's other facilities. What we really need are foster care. There's so many other dogs that we could rescue, but we have no place to put them after the rescue, because the rescue stays full. The refuge stays full all the time, because as soon as 1 or 2 dogs go out, I have a waiting list.
How many dogs do you have there now?
Right now, I just counted yesterday to see exactly where we're at. We're at 47.
Did you say, hey, you guys stop and stay still for a minute so I can count you all?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that happens. But foster care is another extremely important component. We will pay for any medical care they need. We just need a safe place for them while we look for their home.
And what type of period of time? 3 weeks, a month?
It could be,
days?
Yeah, it could be anywhere from a couple of weeks if we know they have a flight out. It could be a month, it could be a couple of months. I try not to leave dogs with any foster more than that, because they get attached or the dog gets attached. And as soon as I have space at the refuge, I will try and bring them in. A lot of times we need foster for dogs that need 24-hour eyes-on care. You know, I will bring a dog into the house and keep it up with me, but still, I'm still dealing with 40-something other dogs.
Do you have other staff that live with you?
I
or-
have one full-time staff that lives at the facility. Looking for another part-time if anybody needs a job, knows anybody that needs a job. I have one full-time staff member that's on site with me 24/7. Other than that, then it's me and him. So volunteers also welcome, come out, play with the dogs. The volunteer job is easy. Throw a ball, walk a dog on a leash, sit down and play and love on it. Just socialize with people. That's a volunteer's job. So, want to do that? Come on out.
And if you're a carneria guy and you have a whole bunch of bones, I'm sure you can throw them in a bag and take them out
Right,
to
right.
Flower's place, and those dogs love bones.
Absolutely.
I go about once a week up to the meat shop, the butcher by my house, and get a couple bones for Madre, and because her family doesn't take care of her. And there's another dog that where I walk a lot in the mornings. He's in this great big fenced-in area, but it's all weeded over. There's no grass. There's no really lot of shade for him, and I'll throw him a bone a day every now and then just because
Nice.
they like to.
Right.
That keeps them from chewing on me. It all
That
takes
too.
them back.
That too, right?
I used to run a lot, and one time I was running in my subdivision, and it was out in the country, and I heard something behind me. I didn't know what it was. Well, I turned around, and I thought it was a horse chasing me down. Well, it wasn't a horse, it was a Mastiff, which is, I guess, the largest breed of dog.
I
And
love
these
them.
people had this dog that they just moved to the neighborhood, and here comes, I found out later name, Solomon was his name. But this dog, I started running faster from a jog to a run. No way, he just started smiling and
Right.
slopping all over. Well, anyway, he jumped up on me. Well, Mastiffs can weigh up to 200 pounds.
Yeah.
They can be up to 6.5, 7 foot tall. And he knocked me over and licked on me and all this. Well, we became good friends, and he used to go running or jogging with me. But I couldn't have ever afforded to feed Solomon. I don't know how much, I don't know how his family afforded him. But he was the
Yeah.
nicest, biggest, friendliest,
I
spookiest
love-
looking dog, but oh, he was just a big
Big
puddle of
dogs, I
fun.
love the giant breeds. I love Great Danes are my favorites. And I actually have a couple of dog runs built especially for
Big ones.
just for the giant breeds. Because if there's a Dane or a Saint Bernard I haven't had the chance for a Mastiff yet, but if I had the
Bull
chance to
Mastiffs are
rescue-
kind of popular in the States too now. They're
yeah,
between
but
the Bull and the Mastiff. But that
yeah.
Mastiff, I mean, he was mountains.
I love rescuing the bugs.
He could have played for the, Los Angeles.
Linebacker.
Yeah, he could have played, tied in for the Chiefs or something.
And the worst thing you can do is run from a dog because you can't outrun it.
I
Turn around
learned-
and face
I
it.
learned
You
that
can't
the
unwrap
hard
it. You
way.
can't. It's a good thing he was friendly because otherwise their prey instinct kicks in. Worst thing, you turn around and face it is the only thing you can do. Because running, you're not going to win. Not even from a Chihuahua. And
Yeah.
I'm more afraid of a Chihuahua coming at me than I am
Some of them things,
a
those
pit
little
bull.
12, well, they're not even 12 pounds, 3 or 4 pound
Right.
feisties. They're not 6 inches tall, but
Right.
boy, they think they run the world.
Yes, they do.
They think, oh, no
Yeah.
bark. Good imitation, isn't it? Flower, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate it, and please, if anything we've said today touches your heart, reaches out. If you have extra cash, whatever, you can get a cash tax donation, which
You
is
can-
always good.
Right. You can also donate directly at the vet at Mascotas Lake Veterinaria. They
Can you
will-
say that slower?
Mascotas Lake Veterinaria. You can donate there. It's right on the carretera in Ajijic. You can donate through Lake Chapala Charities. That's it. Just go on their website and then look for Stray Dogs of Mexico. You can donate through my Zelle or PayPal. And if you want to donate food, you can do that as well. Just send me a message and we'll get that figured out.
Well, I need to come out and visit you because every now and then my wife puts me in the doghouse, and I might have one of those bigger dogs. So keep a run open for me.
Okay. Okay.
Flower, thank you very much. I
Mine.
appreciate your time. It was
Thank
a pleasure
you. Thank
to
you.
learn more about your organization. Thank you for all you do. So
I do it for my soul.
keeps you sane, doesn't it?
Yep.
But I bet
Makes
you
me
had-
crazy, keeps me
Have
sane.
you had an opportunity to go on a vacation lately?
I actually, for Thanksgiving, my daughter and I, she's coming down from Michigan. We're going on vacation and going to be spending Thanksgiving together for the first time in probably 8 or 9 years.
Well, congratulations.
So yeah,
That'll be fun.
it
Enjoy
will
it.
be. It'll be great.
Again, thank you very much for tuning in to Expat Conversations with Michael Nolen. We sure appreciate you listening in, and please like and subscribe and do all that other stuff. Send it all to your friends, especially if they're pet owners, pet lovers, and we'll try and build this channel one by one. And again, thank you to the University of Guadalajara for allowing us to have this extension so you all can learn more. We'll see you on the next show. Bye.
Happy trails.